Hi everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm here with my co-host Omar Binno, and we have Jessica Qonja here today with the collective table. She's going to kind of get into why she got into it, how she got into it, how she makes these beautiful pieces here, and where you can get them from. So Jessica, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what collective table's all about.
All right, so collective table started because I would make these like extravagant spreads for friends and family, and I loved the idea of bringing good food together, good people together, and just creating like a great collective experience, I guess you would say. So just
get it. I like that. No, I like that.
So it's that's how it started. It was, you know, in my family and within our culture, everybody is very much, you know, open door policy. At any moment, you know, you expect the door to open and your entire family is going to walk in the door and you got to be ready to go. So our house, especially because my grandmother lived with us for so long,
so
everyone just kind of migrated to our home.
That'd be the mat'am.
Yeah.
That was the restaurant. You come there and everything was set to go.
Exactly. So, you know, it was very standard to walk in and there's a whole table of like mezza.
Yeah.
And that's how I grew up. And so that's how we enjoy to eat in our family and with our friends. So
you referred it to mezza, so let people know, like in terms.
So mezza in the Chaldean community and the Arabic community is, you know, tapuli and hummus and fattoush and olives and burshi.
Like we say our condiments in a way, right?
Your condiments, your finger foods, your pikani and you know,
kind of an
pita
appetizer.
bread and appetizers and just all that kibbe, all that fun stuff. So, you know, it evolved obviously with the culture, you know. Now we're drinking more wine when we're with our friends, and these foods complement that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it now. So I would start making them, and then my friends would be like, you know, I'm going to this party. Would you make me one?
Of course.
So
works that way.
I started making them for friends. I would do them more for us with family. I mean, I'm even making them here at work now, just whenever we feel like a treat in the office. So it kind of just grew. And then someone was like, I think it's time that you start an Instagram and start to sell it. And that was my sister and one of my friends, Bridget, George, and my sister Jessica Qonja. So they were like, you need to do this. It's a good business. It's fun. At the very least, it's a good hobby and something that you enjoy doing. And that's what it's turned into. You know, I've kind of grown my knowledge on what I'm serving, like what complements what and what people enjoy and what looks good.
Well, it's cool what you said right now. You said that we're changing and like the whole wine experience to this, you know. We were always kind of part of that as a community because of owning the stores, like getting to the wine tastings and all that. But driven on events, it was straight alcohol, like your normal, your vodkas, your Hennessy's that we did. So this wasn't really a major play when I was growing up. But like you said, the evolved Chaldean community has now come into like we're just kicking it. We're having a little event, having some wine on the table and all this, and it pans out. Have you evolved a little bit to know what wines to pair with some of your stuff? Have you gone into
I
that
have. I think for me it started with a very it was very simple. If I look at my first boards, I kind of cringe a little bit now. But like
our first interview,
like our first episode,
right?
I mean,
no offense, Chris.
With anything, you evolve, you change. So, you know, my first boards were like basic like cheddar cheeses and a little Asiago and maybe some Parmesan, and now it's like I make a board and there's a sheep's milk cheese and a goat cheese and a cow's milk cheese and there's a triple cream brie, like just little things that have now like elevated the entire experience. And you're eating this and then you're enjoying like some great bottles of wine. And I mean, even my own palate, like it's changed so much, but I would, when I was younger, or even when I was like with my parents and stuff like that, we would never know like to order a bottle of like a Camus or something along those lines, or a Duckhorn or things like that. Like you just didn't know. Your palate hadn't elevated to that level. But now within our community, like I sit with my friends and you can have hour-long conversations about where grapes came from, and what kind of you know,
the
experience that you're having. So it kind of changed, and then this changed with it. You know, the more that I knew, the more that I was like, okay, well, this pairs well with that. And that's kind of how I go about the boards. You know, this is a great, I would say almost like a French style because of the brie, because of the prosciutto, the jam, the cornichons, the Marcona almonds. All those things are very much, you know, you would drink them you would drink a Bordeaux with something like this.
Okay.
It's a stronger wine. It can hold up to something that's a little bit funkier, like a brie and the prosciutto and all that stuff.
The saltiness and all that comes with it too, which it helps it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're having, you know, something lighter, a goat cheese with a Chardonnay or a red wine, a white wine is great complementary to it. So little things like that, and it's a great conversation starter.
Of course.
You know, you sit down and whether you know, within our community, their common ground is always food. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's the string that links everybody together. So, you know, you might sit with somebody that you don't know, but you could start talking about a cheese, and then all of a sudden it evolves into, well, I was on this trip and I tried this and it tasted great, and and that's what it turns into. So it's been a really great experience. It's been fun so far. And
I was gonna say, prior to this, did you have some hands-on in the kitchen with Mom?
Yeah,
like, so
absolutely.
you were making food with her, got that experience.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how it always has to come from the heart?
Yes.
Like we've talked about in episodes in the past, so you got to have that good day, good feeling, everything going right to be able to, because it's food isn't just food, right? It's an art.
Yes.
In the end, really, it's what appeals by the eyes as well too, you know? So when you're doing stuff like this, coming from that, like, you know, what is a Morocco lifestyle?
Yes.
It's not that. So how did the transition, besides that, like, did you go to places and enjoy them first yourself and then say, you know what, I want to give this a shot?
Yeah, I mean, with me, I did definitely grow up in the kitchen with my mom.
Yep.
My grandmother, like I said, lived with us. So for me, like, just seeing somebody was always in the kitchen.
Yep.
Your house it revolves around the kitchen.
Sometimes bigger than the master
Every time
bedroom.
I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, I learned things. I picked up on things. They would, you know, I love this, but you would sit down and, like, if your mom's making, like, takata pusta or something, and your grandma's over and your aunt's over, and you know what the kitchen looks like. It's a factory that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we grew up with that, and I loved it, and you would help a little bit here and there. My mom, I feel like, has always just been a little bit more mindful of how things look, even when she puts it at home. Like, she was never the kind of person that made a salad and was like, okay, let's throw some romaine lettuce and some tomatoes in a bowl. Like, it was always very
exotic, almost
elaborate, and like,
presentable.
I thought it yes, very much so, and I thought that was normal growing up.
To be a presentation.
Yeah, I thought that was normal.
The look.
Obviously, you grow up, you go to your friends' houses, you go here, you go there. It's not normal. I've learned. You know, it's not normal. You sit down in a restaurant and your mom's like, you know, I could have made this better. And you think to yourself, man, she could have made this better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
but
and had leftovers for a few days after. What do you mean?
For a few days after.
You and the friends.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, for me, and I know for us, like I said, for the community, it all starts there and at home. So it's just been a great experience in that way.
So in that experience, you were doing stuff for friends, family.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
when did it turn to say, you know what, I'm making this into a business? How many years ago was it that you started? How long ago was it that
it's actually pretty recent for me. It's been, it just hit like a full year of like orders that people have come to me for specifically. So,
and how are you getting yourself out there while you're trying to?
So for me, it's basically just Instagram and word of mouth.
Okay. Like I was able to find out through him.
Well, really, it was word of mouth.
Yeah, I'm saying to you, that's right there.
Your Instagram is, what, a month old?
No. It's a little bit older than that. Yeah.
So you've been
but I'm saying word of mouth was perfect.
All right.
I've been hiding it from you.
All right, got you.
Word of mouth's perfect, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Your word of mouth, Jess does this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I got a Christmas party we're going to for a family.
Yeah.
Jess, make this for me. It was the biggest hit, by the way. I'm telling you, like, they already had one there, but my cousin and a few others, I didn't say at first who it came from, you know what I'm saying? Because I just was trying to, ramp it up a little bit. Then after a few times of them asking, so who did this? Where did this come from? And I finally, I busted out with, I work with Anthony in his office. There's this girl, Jessica Qonja. And then I hear in the background, Marianne, my sister. Oh my God, Jess, yeah, that's awesome. Tell her I love her. I'm like, I'm sure she knows, you know what I'm saying? But it was a big hit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was, and what they asked over and over, do we get to keep the base? Yeah. Okay, and I said, I stood frozen. She didn't ask me for it back, and I was going to text you like, no, she probably would have told you to bring it back. No. So I'm like, you know what? It's yours.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. So some of these boards, like I have some heavier ones, some bigger ones, some, very elaborate ones. those boards, when I give them out, I'm like, oh, by the way, I need you to drop this back off, or I'll pick it up. When it's something that is more reasonable in size, which I think is what you ordered, it's one of those ones where it's like, it's yours.
Sure.
It's yours to go.
Sure. And it's a cool thing because they can use these over and over, so they're not throwaways. They're actually quality wood plates and stuff that you have stuff on.
I try to be very mindful of like, and that's just kind of a new thing that I've come to in my life, is just to be more mindful of like my impact with plastics and the environment, and just be conscious of those things, because I understand that I can't change everything, but I do use a lot of cardboard. I mean, crackers. The industry of like grocery is so amusing to me, and you know it because you were in it, is that there's so much packaging.
It's all marketing.
Geez.
They market.
Yeah, we fill up 30-yard dumpster up every week, or 20-yard dumpster.
Then all of a sudden it turns out you got to buy the compressor.
Yeah, twice a week, 3 times a week. Yes.
You had to buy the compressor to compress the bales of
it's
boxes.
A lot.
It's insane. So I've been trying to be okay. If I'm gonna buy 20 boxes of crackers, and I'm going to recycle the box, okay, that's a business in itself, which is a different conversation. But I'm going to be trying to mindful of, let me use glass jars, let me not use so much plastic, let me use things that are reusable. So that's
awesome.
I'm trying to, it's something that I feel passionate about.
I get it. I get what you're saying. So, for example, besides them keeping these trays, when they come in with products like this, they get to keep these jars and reuse these jars for later things.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't like, see, that's like to say the common sense we should be expecting to understand.
Right.
But we sometimes, because of thinking it's okay to always use plastic and other things, that you kind of lose focus. Like, okay, I'm just throwing it away and call it a day, Yeah. So it's good for you to be conscious like that. Plus, you're making your product a little more unique because you're consciously aware of like your go green attitude. So good for you.
And I try to look out for companies that are doing the same. If it makes sense for me to, buy something that maybe is a little bit more, but they're a more sustainable company and they're environmentally friendly, I like to go down that route.
Sure.
And homegrown.
Homegrown too. That's the biggest thing, And I love in the summertime because I don't buy herbs. Like, I grow everything myself. Beautiful.
So do I. Yep, we do it at our store too.
That's the best.
What's average time take, we'll say, from something like this to be made to something like this, and how much preparation like do you need someone to tell you a week in advance? How long of a time frame does this all take?
It kind of just depends on what's going on, but from start to finish, whether it's shopping at one store or sometimes like for something like this, I shopped at a few different stores. So that takes time, and then putting a board together, like the smaller one could take me 30 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Putting a larger board together that's just a little bit more elements,
sure.
45 minutes to an hour. It just kind of depends. Okay. And for me, it's more because I'm like, okay, I don't want the colors to be next to each other, so I need this to be like visually appealing and things like that. And then it goes back to the pairings. So like the cheddar is a really sharp cheddar, and I think it stands up to the salami seiche, so I put those two next to each other.
Got you.
And same thing here, so that's like a sheep's milk manchego, and then it goes really well with like a lighter cracker. So that's how I like to, when I put it on the platter, it's with the intent to have you eat with the things that are around it. Obviously everything can be eaten however you want, it's your food. But I'm just kind of trying to lead you to where I think it's going to be the most appealing.
How do you do that? So, for example, like when I get a box of chocolate, you flip it open. On the inside, they'll tell you different ones that are in there, so you know what you're picking at.
Yeah.
How do you...
Just flip the board over.
Dolma style? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have a big harissa when you do that. What do you mean? So how does your consumer understand what to pair with? Because obviously you want to educate them so they like with what you have. You know, what you're pairing.
Well, I think that's what my market is they either they know, because it's not. Let's be honest, meat and cheese is not the most affordable thing to bring into a party.
Right.
It's not. I mean, you're walking in, you've spent a decent amount of money and time and effort to get something like that there. So they either generally have an understanding and will get it, or I'll send out like a text, hey, this is what I put on your board, or if I see you, just depending on how the delivery worked out for that situation, I throw a card in there. This works with this works with that, this is what I've put on the board. Hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, let me know.
So you convey them how to go about using your board.
Yeah.
And that's big, because that kind of, if you think about it, somebody might have like a bitter tasted something and go, oof, I didn't really care for what she had on there. But it's like, wait, I'm wrong because I paired it up wrong.
Yeah.
So
well, that too, and sometimes it's the exact opposite, and they're like, oh wow, I never thought to put that together.
Right.
You know, one of the combinations that has been kind of a little bit of a hit for me, and I don't have it on the board today, but it's a goat cheese with like agave and pistachios, and then a little bit of like pink sea salt on top. Like that has turned into like, people are like, whoa, it's so simple, but it's so delicious. Like it's just palatable and it's enjoyable, and that's what, you know, I like that. I like creating a little bit of that. Like, I didn't know I would like this, and now I love it.
Beautiful. And it's usually two things, in my opinion, that bring humans together. Music and food. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's usually two common things that can bond, because
and we know a lot of humans.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Humans.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So on an average, is your business been steadily inclining right now since, you know, because we want to get you out there, help you out too. I like I said, I really enjoyed it, so I know I'll be using you again. Yeah. But for others to know about,
she really doesn't have time. So she does have a
I think there's this one agency.
So you do have a day job.
I was going to say, this one agency takes a lot of your time.
So you do have a day job.
I do have a day job.
What's that day job?
I work for Mr. Anthony Toma with Anthony Toma right here.
What's your position? What do you do?
I don't even know how to categorize that one. I think I do a little bit of everything around here. JOAF,
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
T. Yes. I get my letters confused all the time.
But so I've been working with Anthony here for 5 years, and then before that,
can I ask you something?
Kids, yeah.
What's the experience of working with Anthony? Because I just got to get this in the last 6 months.
It's a nightmare. You better have thick skin.
It's not. It's actually, and not because he's sitting here, I swear, is that the way that his mind works is one of the most impressive and fascinating things, because his angle is always completely 180 from where I am.
Sure.
And I don't know if it's like a male-female thing. I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know if it's a...
It's an Anthony thing.
It might just be an Anthony thing.
I get it once in a while, too.
But it's always the most unique perspective, and I think that's why he's been able to, like, diversify his business in those ways, is because it's so open-minded, and I've appreciated that, because I think it's kind of helped me become a little bit more open-minded,
Thank you.
So it's fun. We're here. The office loves when I make a board, because
of course
they get to feast.
And Jess is the go-to for design and creativity in the office, and kind of what's you're looking at now in the studio. She's kind of had a big, huge hand in the design and the moving parts around and just filling space.
And also being a Chaldean woman, right? You see both sides of it. You're working with, a Chaldean business, and so you bring that approach with you. But also let the viewers know, either it was all good or there was some struggles as a Chaldean woman starting off your own business, starting this off, and what's some of the experience that you do a great job with him, but then you had to implement this for your own.
Well, I think here it was a little different, because I had talked about him with him, I think once or twice, is I didn't know how to like value my time and my my experience in terms of like a price.
Sure.
Nobody tells you how to do that.
Sure.
Like, you could go to school forever and everybody's going to tell you something different. And it was very helpful. And now I kind of have a little bit of understanding. The other thing is I always felt like I might have been like undervaluing myself, and other people are like, oh, okay. And there's no argument, no question on when you give them a price for something.
Do you think that's a Chaldean trait? That we undervalue because we've always kind of been so giving that we always were intimidated to say,
I think it's just somebody being new to business, not understanding the supply, the demand, and your time. If you understand that and your time is maxed out, then it's time to raise the price, because the demand is greater than the supply.
Sure.
So the price has to go up.
Sure.
And then you just steadily increase the price until your time and your work life is balanced.
Yep.
And Jess also does Christmas tree decorations.
Yeah, I've been doing
decorating.
that. I'm a very if I ever was to redo and was like, and then was positioned to like go back and do things over, I've always said, like, I would love to have that job where you set up the windows during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've seen, like, Anthropology in Birmingham.
Yep.
It's, like, the most amazing, elaborate setups and displays, like, visual merchandising.
Yep.
That would be my, like, and this gives me that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my, like, go back and let's
You're
do
creative.
it all over kind of thing.
So you can wear this too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a prosciutto. We'll do a meat dress like a
Yeah,
Lady
meat
Gaga.
My man,
Yeah.
I wore it after
Lady Gaga.
that at dinner, bro.
Yeah.
I was wearing it well. I ate almost half the thing when we had it, so I was wearing it good.
But so for me, that's the thing is I love to visually look at something and see interest and see thought and like everything is placed a certain way for a reason in my mind, whether it's this or it's, you know, flowers on my desk or a stack of papers or everything has a reason and
Sure.
It's
the eye.
appealing.
It's the eye visually, eye, and then just making sure everything's in its perfect place. So, you worked with Andy and Lawrence for a little while.
Yeah, I did. I helped him out with like some Christmas stuff. That was fun, and then we would do some events here and there.
Shout out to those boys.
Yeah.
Those boys got good creativity
and
work
they
ethic.
work ethic, right? And they pay so much attention to every little detail. And I think working with somebody or side by side with somebody and just watching them work and then understanding what their demand is for their clients and how tough they are on every little detail and how attention they pay to every single detail. It kind of looks like that. Some of that is put into this.
I think so. I think absolutely. You know, and I like to think is for me too, is your product is your reputation. Like what you carry that with you.
Yep.
You know, so
Your name
when
is on it.
Absolutely. And now with social media, it's just been amplified because
Yeah,
now
no doubt.
there's 50 pictures posted and somebody's sharing it on Snapchat and people are talking about it. And it's not so much so that it would happen and then you would forget about it. Now, like even on your post, I don't know if you've paid attention, now people can bookmark your post. And for me, as a creative space, I look and I'm like, oh wow, like 15 people bookmarked this photo, like, and that's kind of where I would like to see this go. Like, I like making boards for people, and I think it's fun and enjoyable. I also would like to just be a resource. Like, if you call me and you're like, or even DM me on Instagram and hey, I'm throwing a party and I want to do this and this. Like, what do you think goes with it? Like, I would love to share that information.
Well, I think if you wanted to bring that really to the forefront, you just start making some videos on how
or we need to throw a wine party with her. Right?
Yeah, so we'll call Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V.
Have him come out with
Gary
his wine.
V.
That would be like
Anthony
dream
Jr.
night.
Right? We'll throw a big hafla with him and call Keeping Up with the Chaldeans.
Yeah.
Plus Gary V.
And this guy, the little guy, Gary V.
And then we'll throw, the next event. We'll have it, set by.
For sure. The king of content creation. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But so that for me is where it's at. Like for Christmas, I had been incredibly busy. There were, besides for your order, I mean, obviously there was tons more.
Sure.
It was never...
And I got you last minute and you came through. I think it was like in 2 days you were like...
She sees you twice a week.
No, and it's, when you're doing something you love, it doesn't matter. Like, you want to do it all day long.
Yeah.
Like, it was the best feeling. When I had, like, I think yours was... No, I had one more after yours that was to pick up. And once that was picked up, it was just like... Woo. Wow. Like, one... Break time, yeah. The adrenaline rush is, like, there. And two, to know that you're capable of something. Like, you're capable of it. But to start it and finish it is a great feeling.
It's accomplishment.
Yeah, so let that just be a lesson to all the young ladies out there and young men that are looking to, that have an idea or a passion. Get out there and just do it.
Yeah, start with a finish.
Like the first one you did, you just did it, right?
Yeah.
And then... that was it. It was like you did it, and then on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then there was an improvement, and your palate started to
develop,
to mature,
change,
and so.
No, that was cool.
And it's evolving right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to go up.
Absolutely.
If anything, the more people that get to catch on with what you have and what you're presenting, And I'll tell you this. When I picked it up from you that day, I left it in the car overnight because I wanted to keep it cold, and I was going the next morning, right? Well,
I wish you would have told me that. I would have packaged it differently.
Oh, well, it would have came out on point. But I'll tell you what, when I got in that car, I didn't even want to make it
You
to my
start
cousin.
eating?
I looked. I'm like, should I? They're gonna notice if I got a missing cheese or something. So I left it alone. But my car, the aroma had that like, it smelled like meats and cheeses. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, so it's
mesquite.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And what I do like about it, it's clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a very clean and appealing.
Well, it's not cheap stuff.
Yes.
It's high end.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You made the product look well with what's.
I noticed one of those Festaca don't have a nut in it though.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's ruined the whole board.
Ruin the whole board.
Yeah. Maybe we should open it just to make sure.
Yep.
Nothing.
That's right.
Nothing. I'm a fraud.
Scam. 1 star.
So your designs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Where does the creativity come from? Do you look at other things out there like just for inspiration online, or do you say, you know, I'm Jess, I know how to do this?
I'm Jess and I know how to do it.
Yeah. So do you post your stuff on Pinterest? Do you have a Pinterest account?
I do.
Oh, beautiful.
So I've never made 2 boards that look alike.
Really?
I don't follow a pattern.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you, do you have like is there a name to it? Like, am I ordering from Jess,
No.
you know, the Anthony board or the Junior board? You know what I'm saying?
No,
So it's
generally
unique.
if there's
Occasion.
something, if there's an occasion or the way I price it out is based on the number of meats and cheeses.
Sure.
If you're looking for something, but you know, if you find something, people will send me a picture. And can I have something like this? And I always start with, you can have something like this, but it's not going to be this.
Right.
And the reason for that is because stuff is seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes the markets, depending on the stores, like a lot of this stuff is coming from, you know, gourmet markets. So they might not have the same salami that I buy every single time.
Right.
You need to be okay with that. Or if figs are in season, which they're not right now, but they're my favorite, they would have been all over this board.
Mm-hmm.
So it's little things like that. You're never going to get the same. And there's no, like I said, aside from like colors, there's no rhyme or reason. I just start and then it evolves.
Good.
Into
You're an
something.
artist.
I think I've seen about 10 boards and they all look the same to me.
Well...
And I'm not saying, and I know that I have pictures of them all, and they're all different. But like to a dude, like just a guy, like that's
funny you say that.
That's looking at it with my stomach and not with my eyes or my brain.
Yep.
They all look the same.
Yep.
It's like Festaca and some raspberries and mustard.
But now to us, at the end
almonds.
of this interview,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like the same to me anymore.
Why is that?
She just changed
Oh,
my
she-
perception
right.
of how I'm
Yeah, she's
looking
got-
at it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah, we know
that maybe I
names.
shouldn't have touched that
Yeah.
cheese with that cracker.
Yeah,
or
you're going all the way across the board.
literally.
Yeah, that's
Literally.
yeah, this is not Twister.
No,
my man.
no.
This is
No.
This is just
So-
cheese palette.
To what you were saying, to add to it, you know, as we're guys, we do what we do.
Yeah.
That's the unique thing about, you know, man and woman is
Yeah,
the chromosomes are different.
Sure.
We go in to tear this whole board up, and we don't care which angle we're taking, right?
Yeah.
When you got her chromosome saying, well, wait, I gotta set it up perfectly,
yeah.
even though, you know, chromosome Z is gonna come in and just tear it up, right? So, but that's.
Do you start from one side and go this way, or how do you do that?
So I do, if it's generally around the cheese, that's like the home base, then what's around it tastes well with it.
So
That's
by
how I go
proportion,
about
though.
it.
So by proportion, is there like X amount of cheese to meat, or is it like can somebody cater and say, look, Jess, I'd rather have a lot of cheese, less meat, or okay.
I've done some that were completely just cheese and there was no meat, and then we just did a lot of pairings that way.
I like cheese.
Yeah.
I like cheese.
Yeah.
I like cheese.
So
cheese,
good.
cheese.
Wisconsin,
Cheese.
Green Bay.
I like cheese. If you go to Google and I mean, I'm sorry, YouTube and Google, I like cheese, those stuffies come up and it's like,
funny.
I like cheese.
Yeah.
I like cheese.
Yeah.
I like cheese.
That's
This little
hilarious.
stuffed animal with the googly eyes. The beanie boos.
So from
Check
start
it
to finish, how does this all work out? I get a hold of you,
Yeah.
and then
DM me,
okay, so we
Text
just talk
me,
over the phone and do
call
anything.
me. Yeah.
Okay. Would you ever do anything like where you have the ability, people can just go online, click what they're looking for, and send it to you, and then you have it? You know,
So
'cause-
I could do something like that, but again, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
Sure.
So-
Well, the reason I'm
so-
saying this because there's always that conflict, like, oh, Jess, I didn't tell you to do it this way.
Yeah. But I
shouldn't
kind
deal
of
with
go
those
in.
kind of
Yeah, I
people.
don't.
Wait.
To be frank, I
And
don't.
if she does, it'll only be once.
Okay.
But
Disregard
so-
what you heard.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been doing more recently is like wedding day setups at like the bride or groom's house.
Okay.
So I'll do
cool.
fun stuff like this, and then I also do like crostinis and like sautéed chickens and things like that.
Sure.
And it's fun and it's great, and those are fun.
Sautéed chickens?
Like chicken skewer things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with like dipping sauces or like big vegetable platters, crudités that are pretty elaborate, I think. And you can check that out on my Instagram too. But so that stuff is fun because a lot of people will be like, so this is how much I want to spend. These are how many people are coming.
Got you.
Do your thing.
That makes it easier.
That is, to me, is like, you just gave me
Paint
the
the
keys
perfect
to the
picture for
castle
us.
and
Yeah.
I get to do whatever I
Yeah,
want.
For sure.
Yep, paint the perfect
And you do it
picture.
right, of
Yeah.
course. So, do you do baptisms? Have you done, like, what's the kind of events that you've done?
The big stuff that I've done is weddings. I've done about a half a dozen weddings at this point.
And so, like, what other vendors do you run into there at the weddings? Like,
For me, it's all the house stuff. So the only person I've really run into is a florist here or there,
Yeah.
or maybe a coordinator if I'm on the tail end of it.
yeah.
I have done like an event for the Chaldean charity at Shenandoah, the Chaldean Ladies of Charity at Shenandoah before, and that was
How
like
big?
pre-
Like, so
Yeah, what's up
are they
with that?
pre-made and you're just setting them down, or you're bringing all the stuff and then you're laying it all over the table?
So it depends. I've done two. The one where you lay it over the table is like a whole grazing. I call it a runner, and it's literally butcher paper across your island, and it is just full of all of this,
mountain.
and it's organically placed, and it's beautiful. That's like a big 3 to 4 hour setup, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. For more of the wedding stuff, it's been more of drop it off, but I do organize it. I will set it up for
course.
you.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does look beautiful. It's just more of what you're looking for and who your audience is. You know, a
Gotcha.
lot of the older crowd will really appreciate a good meat and cheese, but a lot of them have no inclination of the value of it.
course.
Right.
To them, it's, you know,
Gupta.
it's Gupta.
Yep.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it is. I could
Yeah.
make it at home with some milk, and that's
Right,
what it
right,
is.
right.
Which my mom is
Take it out of a
currently-
plastic
yeah.
container, wrap it in a.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not fun to tear it up.
Little
You know.
cucumber, a little
Yeah.
bit of salt, and you're all set.
That's
That's
it.
it,
So
yeah.
it depends on your audience. You know, the audience that I'm catering to knows the difference, or at least can recognize whether it's visually or even, you know,
Well, let's
with
talk
the
about
taste.
that for a second. So, example right now.
Yeah.
I don't mind trying it right now. What am I
Of course, you don't mind.
No, not at all. Not at all. But, like, what would we pair an example here to here? Give me some examples. So,
so-
we've got, this is salami.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just some salami. I would do salami.
Is this a
that's
bastorma?
cheddar. It's a salami seche. It's
Okay.
very similar,
Okay.
but bastorma's
More
beef
garlicky
generally
beef,
and
okay.
garlicky.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, just check it,
And
AT.
then-
See what you think.
No,
Right? Salami, right?
pretty close.
All right, we're good. We're good.
And then that's a fig and olive cracker, and
Okay.
that's kind of like what I would say is the thing that makes it a little bit different.
Are you
if
sure?
If I put those three together, I would really enjoy that.
So what am I doing with this, for example? Am I dipping this with something?
So that's
Or how am I
just a
just-
breadstick. I think that's
Okay.
delicious. I think that with
Me
I would
too.
do. I would do that with, you know, whether you want to put a little bit of the goat cheese on there and kind of dip it in
What's
there.
the purple stuff on the goat cheese?
It's blueberries.
No way.
So it's a blueberry brine that they've put the goat cheese in, and then it's just been marinating in it, and that flavor just seeps in. So the goat cheese is not as sharp as it normally would.
Cameraman, we got any spoons or forks back there?
Like the brie is a triple cream brie, which is really good. A prosciutto is nice and salty. So this is my.
Oh yeah. You
Stand
got,
by.
right?
Thanks, Don. Let's eat.
That makes sure you don't get none of mine on your shirt. Good man. Good man.
So that there's some rosemary Marcona almonds, some raspberry jam, and then the pickled cornichons, which are just miniature cucumbers, and
You sure?
yes, and then cheddar crackers are delicious. So, like, this whole thing is meant to be eaten together.
Got you.
You know, the whole thing. Something like this where it's a little bit bigger, like I said, you kind of go
Piece
in
to
zones,
piece.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that's how it works out that way.
So I come to you right now and I say to you, Jess, how am I going? Like, I'm picking this up from you and then saying, Jess, what am I pairing here so I can tell my guests? Or do you give me something that I
Do people get that deep though?
Sometimes they do.
Really?
Yeah, there's
Well,
some
yeah,
people
Bears.
if they're doing.
Hopefully she caters outside just to our community. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Which, you know, the American generalization is just like, hey, you know, we're doing this for this purpose. Because think about it. Your citrus to this, it's more acidic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Get the fruit. Your cheese, a little more, your tart saltiness or whatever. So you need to know, and some want to, especially with these parties that these women have during the day now.
Yeah, so it's fun. And then I always like to throw something that's just a little bit to be like, what is that? And so for like this one, I don't know if you guys have had, but these are golden berries.
Yeah, I've had them.
And they're really like just delicious and tart.
I thought they were
sweet.
tomatoes, but then we tasted it's not a tomato.
Well, I used to grow tomatoes like that. They're called sun cherry.
It's not though.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I used to grow tomatoes
that
look like that.
Yeah.
They were called sun cherries, and that's what I thought at first.
Do a lot of gardening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Organic stuff.
Yep.
So for me, it's just throwing something fun, or like this mustard is like a really thick, whole grain, really like
a Dijon?
vinegary Dijon spicy mustard.
Good.
That's something that you're not going to go
these
buy
are what?
that.
Little sausages?
Just a little
those are
salami
great.
sticks.
Yeah.
There was somebody that was sampling them before we started.
Yeah, there was about 7 more of those in there before we got started.
God, your staff, AT.
Yeah, those guys out there.
Those guys are waiting outside the door at the moment.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna be standing right there with them.
Yeah.
We're gonna be.
But so that's fun for me, and I like to put things that are a little bit different and change. But I do like to keep things that are familiar, especially within our community, because you want people to approach the board and look at it and then be like, okay, now I want to try what else is on there.
Right.
You know,
That's
if
why I'm saying
it's
it's
completely
art.
unapproachable,
Visual.
then
Yeah,
you're like,
you gotta
you just
scan
kind
it.
of stay away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look how cool these are. She's got heart-shaped crackers.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day's
Valentine's
coming,
Day's
people.
coming,
Those are
peeps.
fun.
She can make you a nice Valentine's Day one. I think
Those were fun on a wedding board.
So does this
too.
pair with the salami?
Yeah.
It does.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
No.
you sure? Let's just.
So would you would you recommend somebody getting something like this for Valentine's Day? Like, is it a Valentine's Day thing?
I think it depends on your relationship.
What if you cook for your
I think
wife?
something like this is super sweet though if you're going to have a significant other.
Like this, you say, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I think that's awesome though.
Yeah,
Think about it. Sometimes we cook for our significant other. Excuse me, I'm talking while I'm eating.
Yeah.
But we cook for our
Yeah, if
significant
you make dinner
other.
for your Valentine,
Say, here you go. I
Have
got
this,
this app
yeah.
ahead of time while I'm
Yeah.
cooking in the kitchen, wrapping up.
stressed out all over this.
Yeah.
It killed me to make this for you, honey.
Then at the end, you can say, by the way, I grabbed it from Jessica Qonja, you know. But
so, I mean, I think it depends. Like, I was talking to my cousin's wife the other day, and she's like, your cousin, all he wants me to do is make meat and cheese boards. He doesn't want to eat real food anymore. I was like, honestly, like, that's my favorite way to eat, is to, like, pick and choose.
got a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. That's what it's turned into. And now it's not just the whole food board culture, if you're in the space, is really interesting right now.
Yeah, it is.
Like the stuff that's coming out, you can put anything on a board and make it visually appealing, and it could be a Caesar salad and you turn it into a board, and it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. It's fun.
And it goes back to the same thing we'll keep saying. You're designing, your creativity is art to appeal to the people, because any way you look at it, when you want someone to come to your restaurant or whatever, they take the most prettiest pictures of that hamburger or whatever it is. And you're winning by picture. Let's be real. Not every Whopper looked like it did on the commercial.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it brought us into Burger King.
Absolutely.
Same goes here.
Yeah.
We're gonna get these people into.
No,
your
but these
door.
do come out as
Yeah,
beautiful
but
as
beautiful.
they
That's
are.
what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying to you. The taste is there. The quality's there.
These ain't no Whoppers, people.
No.
And it's fun, and I like to, like I said, I like to learn new things. If there's something that you're specifically looking for and you want me to source it for you, I'm down. Like, just let me know. There are some things that if you have a specific wine and you want something to complement
Is this
it to
Parmesan?
it, yes, let me know.
Chocolate.
That's the ASMR right now.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
This is awesome.
So, do you want to shout anyone out? I know you mentioned Jennifer and Brigitte.
Brigitte, so Jennifer, my sister, Brigitte, Lorena.
Hi, Lorena. Lorena's been on the show.
Lorena's been on the show.
Yep.
I don't know. Everyone's just been cheerleaders for me. My friends, my family, obviously my parents, my brother's always willing to sample. Pat is always.
Go, Patrick.
If you ever need a
Go,
taste
Patrick.
test.
Yeah, call Anthony and I too. Well,
She doesn't have to call me. Just bring it here.
yeah, there you go. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So, I mean, for me, and then obviously, like I said, my grandmothers have been they taught me the meaning, and my mom, the meaning of good food, and my aunts, big time. It's just good food, family, that's where your house starts and ends. And I think I hope to continue to create that for, you know, my friends and my family, and in your house or your house.
Yep. Do you ever need help? Is there any time for part-time or anything that you want to find?
Right now, my current employees are my mom and my sister. They give me a hand, but
next year when we redo this interview over, we'll have you a kitchen.
Yeah.
We'll have half a dozen people on staff.
Right.
So we can't wait for that moment.
Yeah, I'm lucky because we have a full kitchen in the basement, so I have the access to just kind of do whatever I want, whenever I want, and it's been great. And like I said, my mom and my sister are definitely Christmas when I was making I made 16 different boards.
Yep.
I couldn't have done it without them. So
you mentioned your grandmother a few times, and she's no longer with us.
Yeah. So
rest in peace.
Thank you.
So you call her grandma, and I call her Mtumedian.
Yes.
So that's my dad's sister.
Yeah. So Nana for me was huge in just showing me that, you know, food is your house and your family and your heart.
Yep.
And I think that's
you're
big in
lucky.
our family. Yeah.
And so is he, and so am I.
Yeah.
We grew up with that generation to have that. That's what gave us the Sudat. That's what gave us the cooking. That's what gave us all that love. Even as much as our moms did for us.
Yeah.
There was it just to me what mom's mom did for us kind of surpassed sometimes what even mom did for us. It was crazy. But
well, for me, I didn't have mom's mom. My mom's mom died when she was like 9 years old.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little different.
How about Baba's? I mean, you're
oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least if you get
dying
one side or the other.
With us for a long time.
Yep. Yeah. So as long as you get one or the other, it's a tradition that the next generation is not gonna get.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you mentioned basturma and stuff. So my mom's parents, my grandmother and my grandfather, who's also passed, he would make basturma every like couple of weeks.
Gotcha.
And I would sit there in the basement, and I would sit there and I'd be like, Baba, what are you doing? And he's like, you know, when you like it with the bath in the morning, this is what I'm making you.
Yeah.
So now I get it and I appreciate it, and I look to those memories with like great fondness because it was the likelihood of me making basturma in my basement in the future, although is possible, is kind of unlikely. So it's awesome that I have that and that, you know, we spent those time there. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Something that you cherish for the rest of your life, even though you won't get it back. You just get the memories, and it's always there for you. It's instilled. So.
Yeah. Your memories are forever, that's for sure.
Is there anything else you want to shout out or point out?
Anything we may have missed?
If you see something that you like on my Instagram, always just send me the photo, DM me, call me, text me, whatever. Let me know what you're interested in, or if you need help with something, let me know. I want to be a resource for this.
We're gonna get you to start shooting some videos.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Telling you, the guy I work with is real generous with my time.
Yeah. So it's the collective.
The collective table. Yep.
The collective table.
Let's bring food and people together and just have a really great time.
Very cool.
So we usually end the show
with
a question to our interviewees. We always ask them, what does it mean to you to be Chaldean? Like, what is it? What is the whole Chaldean culture, and just Chaldean to you? What does it mean?
I think Chaldean for me just means home. It means home in every way. It means if I hear my language and I'm on the other side of the world, it makes me feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
You know, if you are at church, you feel like you're at home. If you know somebody through somebody, it gives you that feeling of home. So for me, just being Chaldean and growing up, definitely very immersed in Chaldean and knowing it. I mean, between my grandmother Nana and then my mom's mom, it's just very much the language is home for me.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the common thread that I've found.
And then being around, like, even if like you travel to San Diego and you see, anytime you're around another Chaldean, you feel home.
Yeah. Yep.
You feel protected.
Yes.
You feel like you're part of something bigger than just standing where you're standing.
Yeah.
Associated your culture with them immediately.
Yeah.
No doubt.
This a brother of mine or sister of mine.
Absolutely. I think that's even why, you know, working here and being here with you is it's home, it's family, it's
you can still see them out at places. You still relate to things. You still it brings a different it's the feeling of comfort.
It's the feeling of comfort, and I know you have my back.
Yeah.
My brother
and sister's right there with me. That's how it goes.
Yep.
So that's what it is for me, and it's made the biggest difference in my life, and it's the one thing that I think I'm so appreciative that I am Chaldean, because obviously you have friends and you meet people in your life that don't have the same culture, and you're like, wow, like you do not have the same support system, or you don't
Sure.
have the same sense of like belonging that I might have, or you have it in a different way.
If you only knew.
If you only knew,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I wish the younger generation that's viewing this follows that.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have a choice because they are part of it. Like they maybe they don't get it now, but believe me, over time they're going to understand it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because they're going to understand that they needed that family, they needed that support, they needed that person watching over them, and if it wasn't their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, it was their cousin, their aunt, their uncle, their nephew,
Yeah.
it's everyone. We're all looking out for each other.
Yep. Well, it was awesome having you.
Yep.
And we want to see much more success for you. So
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure that anybody and everybody that ever asks or want, we're gonna definitely send them your way. And anybody else that's watching this, why not? It's our sister. Support her. She does a beautiful job. And she comes through quick, trust me. I've gone through, I've had to deal with it, and that's usually a common denomination with Chaldeans. We need it now.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
well, it was awesome.
Thank
it was
you,
awesome
Jess.
having you.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to see you at Zao June, hanging out with us.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome.
It'll
Well,
be a
we'll
fun
see
time.
you all. Thank you, and it was awesome having you on. I'm signing off.